For some reason, something told me just to watch the Phantasm movies. There's just a certain essence about them that really can't be explained. Now, I'm not sure what it was, and then I said, okay, saw the first one years ago, freaking phenomenal. Now let's watch number 2 through 5. I'm thinking to myself, okay, self, watch number 2. And number 2 is definitely the sequel that was meant to be. It's the tall man is continuing ravaging the country for world conquest and domination, everything, which you expect for a world villain. And now it's like, hey, we have the original crew that are back and here to take charge. And I like that. The original crew returned. This movie is set 9 years later. So, what happens? Well, there's this woman who's been receiving dreams who's looking for Michael. And he is, he's the boy. And he fakes being healed to get out of a clinic. And he kind of teams up with the girl Liz, and they said, okay, we need to go and stop the tall man, but how are we going to do it? Well, let's say everything was done with the original and expand upon it with a budget of $3 million compared to the $300,000 in the original. So we get definitely some cooler props, but of course we get the plot, which seems to actually include the funeral preparations that the tall man does. So we actually get a crematorium. And of course, the tall man himself can alter reality, so that makes you wonder, is like, what happened to, like, one of the characters, Liz's grandma, supposedly it died. Well, she did die. They held the funeral and everything. But this man pretty much desecrates the deceased. And so he reanimates the corpse, but turning it into the dwarf creature. And, it's obviously very, very scary to see, imagine that happening. And it does, which is disturbing, but somehow fits the motif, which I like. I liked how they take, instead of just the beginning stuff, they actually say, hey, now we have an actual evil villain, and we get to actually see the embalming, we get to see the funeral assistants that he, converts and everything else. So I like the expansion of everything going on. It just felt natural. Yeah, it's like, with this expansion, the movie does have to kind of revisit some of the motifs going on, but not in a instantly have like 10 minutes of flashbacks or something. It's like it shows everything done just right at just the right pace, It's like, yeah, here's a callback to the original, but then we immediately get right back into the action. Obviously, with everything feeling like it's increased here with the budget, it's like the scenes are definitely more of a standout. There was in the beginning, there was this colossal house explosion that Reggie enacts on his own because he has all the dwarf creatures there. It stands like he lights combines the flame with the gasoline from the oven and produces a massive explosion. I'm like, holy cow, that was intense. He also has a 4-barrel shotgun. Yes, I am dead serious. This thing is insane. We actually get to see him be from a regular ice cream truck driver to a badass ice cream truck driver. Have fun with that one, YouTube summary. But yeah, it's obviously we get that explosion going on. We get the inside of the funeral home. Yes, the funeral home is there, and it's still disturbing, which it's just like, I always present in an otherworldly manner. And with this otherworldly manner, we have the new sphere or whatever. It looks golden and it has more weapons. Well, yeah, ultimately towards the end, think, hey, they think that we defeated him, but when our heroes awaken in a hearse and he's still there, it's like, oh, this is to be continued. So, yeah. But this one, with the big budget, for the elaborate house explosion, they had to have it, the fire marshal or the fire person, the member of the fire department, was a fan of the original. Said, "Oh yeah, heck yeah, this is Phantasm. Let's blow stuff up." And it also received a 10 times more budget from Universal because one of the executives was a fan of horror movies and liked the original surreal atmosphere. So we managed to definitely get an increase of elaborate sets and stuff like that. And yeah, you can tell with the increased production values, and definitely with the funeral home. You know, it did that funeral home certainly did feel disturbing, but in a good way, befitting the film's nature. Ironically, with this being a $3 million budget in 1986, I believe, um, it was still the Universal film with the lowest budget. I don't know, that just struck me as kind of funny. But yeah, definitely some of the scenes where they're embalming and trying to eliminate the tall man and everything. And yeah, Angus Scrimm still does a great job, and we get to see Reggie come back. And here's the best part: Reggie Bannister, the guy portraying Reggie, for 9 years worked in a funeral home. You can't make this stuff up. That is so ironic, it's hilarious. And so, in order for his younger appearance, he had to dye his balding hair black. And you could tell it's like, yeah, he is a little bit older, but he's still coming around to save the day, if you will. So, yeah. What some people may not like is how it may retread some of the older ground. At the same time, it feels elaborate and fresh because it's spaced out multiple years. So yeah, Angus Scrimm does a great job. Like person portraying Michael does a great job. So yeah, if you do get a chance, check out Phantasm II.